And being lonely and loneliness, it isn't a punishment at all. It's really your mental bandwidth, and you can control that and keep your peace in your mind and control how much your bandwidth wants to work and what it wants to do and what it wants to focus on without being distracted and influenced by outside sources. This really being alone really gives you that space that you need to figure out how to upgrade in your life. I mean, just think about it. All the times you've been alone, you get your time back. You are forced to focus, so you get your focus back. You get your mind back. You get your wants back and your peace, and you can actually sit back and take the time to think. You can actually sit down and formulate a plan and figure out your next steps. You don't have to figure out right now, but formulate a plan to take those steps to improvement. Being alone and having the lonely silence around gives you no other choice but to sit down and plan and improve your life and the next steps you need to take. You can actually save money, you can actually go to work without fear of missing out on something else. You can actually go train, you can go run, you can do all those things you've been putting off because noise has been filling your life. And now when you sit with that silence, you're forced to figure out what it is that makes you happy, what it is that makes you progress. You can really focus on a bunch of things without being pulled in a bunch of different directions that you don't even ask for. You don't even know about or you don't care about. They're just distractions. They're just distracting you from your main purpose and your main goal. And like when you're alone, you can really just lock in without having to feel like you have to explain yourself to a bunch of different people that don't understand it, that don't want to change anything. They're literally content. There's so many people that are content. Most people in our lives, most people that you see are just content. They're fine. They like the comfort. People don't realize what it takes to get uncomfortable and get what you actually want, to sit down and actually feel and think and plan and have to be honest about the actual steps you have to take to get what you want in life because you can't just sit back and get the things you want out of life. If you just want to be cozy and content and comfy, you know exactly how to do that. You stay right where you are in your comfort zone, and you live there, and you don't move, and you don't change, and you don't seek anything else. And that's the easy life. You can do that. Of course, you can do that. But if you're listening to me right now, you obviously want more from life, from yourself. You're asking for more. You're pleading for more. You're begging for time. You have it. And this is really the hardest part because people want you to stay relatable. They want you to stay like them. They don't want you to change. They don't want to see you grow. They don't want you to get better. They want you to stay available. They want you to stay around and be able to do the things that they want you to do and be in places they want you to be. And you're really just taking a back seat to your own life. People, they want you to stay the same version of yourself because that's literally comfortable for them. That's more noise for them where they don't have to go sit back and change because, oh, I mean, my man's, he did all this work. We came from the same exact place. I have no excuse. And now he's done all this great stuff. And I've just been sitting here watching time pass by, just kind of being a bot, going through the motions and not putting my stamp on what I really want to do and want to be remembered for. People want to be comfortable. You're not here to be comfortable. You're not. You're here to build that life that you said you wanted. Some of us are the chosen ones. We have to be uncomfortable so those other people can be comfortable. We have to figure it out. We're the pioneers. We don't have a mentor. We don't have a blueprint. We don't have something showing us how to exactly do this and that. We got to figure it out ourselves. We create our own lane. That's the beauty in the silence. The silence gives you the opportunity to figure that all out. You don't need a mentor because you're figuring out your own lane. You don't want to follow a path. You're literally making your own. Stop treating loneliness like a disease and like an infection, like it's something you can't get rid of. You're just dealing with and living with. Stop treating loneliness like it's an emergency. It's not an emergency. And really, it's just a season of your life that you need to lock in and tune into and pay attention to. Science. Silence is loud. Silence is very loud, and it says a lot when there's no noise around you. You can hear the silence when there's no outside noise. And and we have seasons. We have seasons that are for friends and family and celebrating and holidays. Then you have seasons of locking in, of grinding, of getting everything you wanted out of this. And then there's just some seasons for finishing what you had already started, for finishing what you had planned, for sitting in that silence and thinking, "Oh, I've been procrastinating, holding this thing off." There's a season that you need to finish it. It's like this is the season that you finish what you started. Sit in the silence. Think about what you actually want and get it, or take the steps to go get it, or sit down in silence by yourself and figure it out how you need to take the next steps and what you can do. What can you do? So if you're alone right now, I mean, use it as your secret weapon. Most people honestly aren't alone, even though they say they are. I mean, use this as your lab. You get to experiment. You get to try new things. Go take a hike. See if that makes you happy. If you don't like it, great. Now check that off the list. You get to try all these different things, and you can see where you fit in and where you find yourself. What you can do without getting paid, without getting money, without other influence. What would you be doing if there was nobody watching, if there was no outside influence, if you didn't see other people doing things you want to be doing? What is it that you'd want to be doing? So here's what you do this week. 1 hour with no noise, no phone, no scrolling. Just sit there and think. Think for a second. Sit there and think what you need to do. What do you want? What's the work do you need to do? Do you need to train? Do you need to study? Do you need to work on a project? Do you need to get on a meeting to figure something out for work? What is it? Create, write, work, express yourself, fix your sleep, go grocery shopping, cook your favorite, go get the ingredients from your favorite restaurant and actually sit there and take an hour or two to cook what you love to eat. Because instead of paying $20 for one meal, now you can go home and sit in silence and make a whole week's worth of your favorite meal for that same $20 because you have the time and the silence and no one's in your ear pulling you. Let's do this. Let's go out to eat. Let's go do that. You can sit there and actually be with yourself and do little normal things that you were missing out on. I mean, just sit there and get your mind right and keep on stacking these days until you see some results. You want the results to really speak for themselves and speak for you and make you feel a certain way. Money isn't the motivator. See what actually makes you want to get up every day. A lot of us haven't found that yet. A lot of us hasn't sit in silence to figure it out. Eventually, at the end of all this, I mean, you won't be lonely. You'll just be rare. And people will be asking you how you've reached this level of nirvana. I mean, people will start asking you questions when the answers are quite literally inside themselves. They just never took the time to listen or figure it out because they're scared. People are scared to be alone. People are scared to be alone with themselves. And that should tell you something. So yeah, you're not actually lonely. Really just call it undistracted.